It is time now to talk politics with our State House insiders. Antoine Seawright, our Democratic strategist, Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist. Guys, diving into the race for governor now. Attorney General Alan Wilson, who is a declared candidate for governor, putting out what he says is an independent poll showing him with 27% of support from South Carolinians. Nancy Mace, who has not declared, with 17%. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Abbott with 11%. And 5th District Congressman Ralph Norman, who also hasn't declared yet, with 10%. Dave, what do you make of these early poll numbers?
As Antoine has a tendency to say quite often on here, this is a snapshot in time, and that's exactly what this is. We are looking right now at the fact that Alan Wilson has been one of the first people to come out in this particular race. We've got Nancy Mace, who's trying to make a lot of headway in name ID development, as we have seen with the cases that she's trying to make from the floor of the U.S. House. But we do have Ralph Norman, who this Sunday is expected to make his announcement. He's going to be running for governor. So in this race thus far, it's not surprising. We've got a really split ticket. I do not expect anything close to any front runner at any time and anytime soon, at least with where we are right now. It's only still July.
I think this is a strengthening and conditioning exercise for Attorney General Alan Wilson. The fact of the matter is he should have statewide name ID. He's been our AG here in the state for a very long time. So it makes sense that any poll will have him leading on the name ID conversation. But I'm not sure any serious political poll is worth the paper it's printed on at this point, because not everyone has declared for the race. People have not been defined on what their positions are going to be. And quite frankly, we are a long ways away from folks even tuning in. No one tunes in really to elected political politics during the summer before almost a year or so out from the primary.
Campaign fundraising numbers, though, guys, show that the Lieutenant Governor Pamela Abbott is a front runner right now when it comes to raising money for the race. Should we read anything into that, Dave?
I think what you're seeing right now is they had a lot of money probably stockpiled, waiting for that announcement to come, because then with the announcement, there's actually a campaign account. So she's done a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. $1 million is a lot of money, especially in a statewide race. So she has done some good headway leading up to her announcement. To announce that she got $1 million in the first 24 hours, that's a little bit of a misnomer for me, at least. But I do think $1 million is a big statement about where her fundraising is going. Hopefully she can, for her sake, sustain that.
Well, I think the reality is she's going to need several millions of dollars in order to build her name ID statewide to keep up with the name ID Alan Wilson has just from a Republican brand perspective. So she's going to need to continue to put up strong fundraising numbers and fundraising quarters along the way in order to build her name ID and then define her opponent, as well as define herself and then define the issues. So congratulations to a strong first post number. However, it's what happens after the first quarter or in quarters to come will define ultimately how well she's going to do as a candidate in the Republican primary. And look, that's the same thing that applies to the Democratic primary. It's not how you start out, it's how you end up.
All right. On the national front today, Senator Lindsey Graham calling for a special prosecutor to look into claims by Tulsi Gabbard that former President Obama was involved somehow in the Russian interference story from back in 2016 with the presidential race there. Antoine, what do you make of all this?
Bless his heart. Lindsey Graham was one of many Republicans in the United States Congress who declared and decreed that Russia had interfered in our election. There's been bipartisan proof that has happened. All of a sudden, he's up for re-election in South Carolina in a primary. It's politically advantageous for him to chastise Obama and Clinton and all these other distraction things because they do not want to deal with the Epstein files that were supposedly on the desk of the current U.S. Attorney General that he even declared should be released. Now he's changing tune. So bless his heart. We will not fall for the distractions. Quite frankly, Democrats and Republicans agree that this is a distraction tactic. And what Republicans do not want to deal with is the files that were on the desk of the Attorney General.
What we really want to start dealing with is the real issues that we're facing right now as a country, making sure that we keep gas prices low, that the price of eggs is not going to go through the roof all over again. We've got to actually start focusing on real policies. This is political play back and forth. I mean, this is kind of like getting into the popcorn conversations, just pops here, pops there, and whatever pops up next is what we're going to start paying attention to. We've got to start focusing. And I think this is a place where I hope somebody in Washington starts saying, guys, it's time for us to get back to the real issues at hand instead of all of these distractions that are going on.
I would say today, my dear friend, remember, Republicans control the House, the Senate, the presidency, and the courts. And here in South Carolina, they control every branch of government. So if we want to deal with affordability, then Republicans have the ability to do that. Instead, they have not spent any of the 7 months dealing with the issues that matter to the American people. And I think that's going to be consequential next year.
Antoine, Dave, guys, as always, thank you so very much for your time. A quick break.